Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Welcome back. You're watching the Kaiser Report. I'm John here with Kaiser on the sofa one more time to talk to you about a few things that are going on that are not quite as amusing as I would like to report to you. The riots in L.A. are in full swing. As you watched probably all day yesterday, it was tantamount to the only news source you could get that kept coming over and over again with the looting, the rioting, the destruction of private property. And all of this time that this is going on right in front of your very eyes, we have sitting Congress people on the news saying it's just a peaceful protest. Does this smack to you about the time in 2020 when all the looting was going on and it was passed as, oh, it's okay, these people are just upset about whatever they're out burning a city down about? The view in the news that were channels that were carrying this showed you the overpasses where the cars were going underneath being pelted, in some cases by cinder blocks, going through the windshield of police cars and everything else. This is a destructive, non-violent protest that's going on, according to what our senators and governor of California and the mayor of L.A. tell you. It's okay, it's just a peaceful protest. Well, it's the third or fourth day that's going to continue into this, where not only the National Guard had to be deployed to bring peace back, but also now there is 700 U.S. Marines on the ground there to try and protect the federal buildings, which they are defacing hour after hour. And then yesterday I observed through some of the media that was being posted on channels like this of these people dressed in black that were distributing gas masks and bricks and things of that nature for them to continue to throw. Fireworks were going off, which kept the police barricades uneasy, because you can't distinguish sometimes between fireworks and a gunshot, which is a recipe for disaster. They were using the burner type rubber bullets that were projectiles to fire back at them, which left a big bruise in some cases. They were showing lifting their shirts where they had a round missing skin from it. Did it deter them to go away and stay away? Absolutely not. They're being driven and pushed to do this by an entity that is a paid entity that is whipping these riots up, and it won't stop in Los Angeles as long as we have the Democratic Congress people pushing for reform. And this is how they react to having lost an election and lost power. They have Antifa-type people out there in the streets causing havoc and upset. It's a page right out of the books of Marxism, and we all see it now. And we all understand that this is their playbook. This is the Democratic playbook for people like Jasmine Crockett and this moron Booker, that continues to try and tell us that these are peaceful demonstrations and they're overreacting to it. Well, they're reacting because there are damage being done. There are things that are hurting policemen. There are businesses that are going to suffer that have been looted out, such as the sneaker store that was hit in the last big riot they had out there. Same store, cleaned it out again, And these are people that, if the likes of AOC will tell you, they're just trying to feed their family. We're not buying that anymore. And then the other news that has seemed to garner the ire and the interest of media, mainstream media, is poor Greta Thunberg. She was kidnapped by the Israelis and sent packing after they tried to make her watch the atrocities of October 7th. And then she was so badly mistreated. We'll show you a little later how bad it was. Well, we could take a look right here.
President,
Go ahead,
do you have a message for Greta Thunberg, and did she come up on your call with the Prime Minister today?
Well, she's a strange person. She's a young, angry person. I don't know if it's real anger. It's hard to believe, actually, but I saw what happened. She's certainly different.
How dare you?
Anger management. I think she has to go to an anger management class. That's my primary recommendation for her.
Some kinds of anger can't be managed.
Kidnapped by Israel, as she says? Was she kidnapped?
I find it. I think Israel has enough problems without kidnapping Greta Thunberg.
And secondly, are you going to
Is that what she said? She was kidnapped by Israel?
Yeah.
Good guess.
My name is Greta Thunberg and I am from Sweden. If you see this video, we have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters by the Israeli occupational forces or forces that support Israel.
That miserable little bag of puke.
Yeah, poor Greta was given water and sandwiches and a plane ride back to from whence she came. But that was terrible. She was kidnapped. Why in the world was she even trying to get into Gaza, is my question. This is a very, very angry little girl that has no education and no wherewithal to be involved in climate change or anybody's war, because she doesn't know a damn thing about it, and much like she knows nothing about anything else because she couldn't even finish school. But she's an angry little girl that it just loves the news media attention. And there we go. She's back home, I guess, now, probably planning the next stunt to get her back in the news. So we talked a little earlier about AOC saying she thinks that we forgot what she had to say in 2020 about them. Well, they have to shoplift and steal because they have to feed their family, and they have to feed themselves because they're starving. She thinks we forgot all of that, and now she's back out again with Booker and that bunch, saying that it's a peaceful protest and they're not looting, and if they do loot, it's only because they have to feed themselves and so on. So she has no clue about anything, and she is one of the new leaders of the Democratic Party. So that ought to tell you something. Let's take a look at AOC in the past and in the present.
So why is this uptick in crime happening? Well, let's think about it. Do we think this has to do with the fact that there's record unemployment in the United States right now? The fact that people are at a level of economic desperation that we have not seen since the Great Recession? Maybe this has to do with the fact that people aren't paying their rent and are scared to pay their rent. And so they go out and they need to feed their child and they don't have money. So you maybe they're put in a position where they feel like they either need to shoplift some bread or go hungry that night.
As we take a live look now at downtown Los Angeles, looks like a store is being looted. This looks like a sneaker store, and it wouldn't be the first time. This looks very familiar. We were over this a few years ago during demonstrations and protests in the wake of the murder of George Floyd. And this looks like to me to be the same store that was looted then and maybe being looted again. You saw somebody running into that store. It's 10:27 on a Saturday night. I don't know whether that store was open or not, but it doesn't look good. And we will see what is happening here. People going up and going in, and we'll see if that is in fact happening.
They're put in a position where they feel like they either need to shoplift some bread.
They're stealing sneakers, and they're going to be selling them, and they're being caught on video.
He's like, I need all that. What the fuck? He's got losses, Jordans. Oh, they're wild the out here. The guys go to the cash register. Yeah, boys!
And so they go out and they need to feed their child and they don't have money.
Later that night.
What's your message to the people that are out there protesting for the rights of immigrants? You want to see those protesters continue to be out on the street and protest these actions by the Trump administration?
I just want them to be safe. And I want folks to know that are thinking about going after it, just be safe.
Do you support them?
Of course I support them. Protest is the foundation of this democracy. It's what makes this country great. And that needs to persist. I just want them to be safe.
What about us? What if...
I don't give a damn.
Hard to believe, but there it is. The Democratic side of Congress is in real trouble. And when they revert back to the riots and promoting riots and promoting civil unrest, this is their key in the door for reclaiming their prowess as leaders of the United States. Leaders we don't need like this anymore. And come the midterm elections, I hope that everyone listening to this channel will be smart enough to put a stop to what we have sitting in there, pushing this kind of nonsense and civil unrest and calling it a peaceful protest. There is no First Amendment protest here. It's pure out and out rioting and destructive behavior brought on and propagated by mainstream media and your Democratic Party and even maybe a couple on the left. The only one of anybody in that Congress that made any sense since these riots start is Fetterman. But, he's on the bad boy list of the Democrats right now, so they're trying to do away with Fetterman. But he's the only one right now that has come out and made the comments that were acceptable comments coming from somebody on that side of the aisle as this stuff progresses. It's insane. And the insanity of the leftist population of this country needs to be gotten into hand and fixed. And whether it takes jailing them all or worse, it has to take place lest we lose a grip on this country. And what they don't realize, these insane leftists don't realize that our biggest enemies in this world are watching all of this. China's watching. Russia's watching. Iran is watching. They have their people already balanced in this country, in certain areas of this country, that are praying that this continues. So it'll be an easier job for them to walk in and hack into our systems that they've already probably have started to do. And don't forget the fact that we had a multitude of Chinese nationals coming through that southern border for the 4 years it was wide open, all of military age and mostly men that came into this country. And just this morning, it was announced that they got another 3 trying to sneak pathogens into this country, just like the one that brought in the crop-killing fungus last week, and they're dispersing into our universities, the research universities, to start to play with gain of function on this crap that they're bringing in. This, we caught 3, we caught 4, maybe, out of how many that are already in place to do the bidding of Xi Jinping, North Korea, Russia, and Iran. This is what we need to be looking out for, and these insane leftists are in the streets destroying property, destroying cities with the help of the mayor of California, Los Angeles, and the governor of California. And he's out getting press saying that Tom Homan wants to arrest them. He would love for that to happen, because all he's never passed the camera that he didn't fall in love with. This guy is an idiot and a dysfunctional governor. And you have a totally dysfunctional mayor of that city and another dysfunctional mayor further up north in San Francisco, which is the next powder keg to go off. So let's stop, look, and think, leftist protesters, lest you give away our country one more time like it was given away in 4 years of Biden-Harris. Let's look at the insanity of the left right here.
Thing to say.
That's very odd.
Well. How the turntables...
Citizens are being thrown into a goddamn war zone for the color of their skin! National Guard has been deployed in Los Angeles by Donald Trump to suppress peaceful protest! Peaceful protest! Peaceful protest!
Well, you cannot get more insane than what's going on right now in L.A., but let's take a walk into Stupid Town and see what Jim Acosta, the guy that got fired off a major network and now is trying to reclaim his prowess on his own channel on YouTube, I guess, or maybe it's Reddit, I'm not sure. But he has Jasmine Crockett on now, and oh, wow, do they make a lot of sense. This is Stupid Town at its best.
To me, it's not America when ICE agents can show up in masks, sweep people up off the street, send them out of the country without due process, put them in these facilities, and we don't even know what's happening inside these facilities. So of course it makes sense that members of Congress would want to go visit one of these ICE facilities and say, okay, what's going on here? We're members of Congress. We represent the people. We want to know what's going on here. And then there's this scuffle where they're giving these members of Congress a hard time. And I'm worried about folks like yourself, Congresswoman, because I have to assume that, of course, they would like to arrest you and some of the others who are more outspoken in the House.
No, you're absolutely right. It's interesting because my deputy chief, who's quite young, still has his grandmother, who he calls this particular one Nene. And so I was having to go to El Paso. After I got done in DC, I had to go to El Paso to testify in federal court as relates to the redistricting that was done in 2020 in the state of Texas. And his grandmother did not know why we were going to El Paso, but she thought we were going to a detention facility. I don't know about Jasmine going, because you know they want to lock her up and they probably gonna grab her and throw her in too. It is sad that people are fearful and that they are looking at people like me and really scared because they know there is a target on my back when you have the President of the United States who consistently drops my name and gets...
Yeah, what's that all about?
We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House.
They have a new person named Crockett.
I am tired of the white boys.
She's definitely a low IQ person.
Well, now that we've heard all of the bad situations that are going on in the United States today, let's take a look at what's happening locally here. We have a little bit of rain coming in. Looks like it'll be nice tomorrow, but thunderstorms will take place today here in East Tennessee, along with Southwest Virginia. Clearing somewhat this afternoon. So we need the rain because the water tables are still a little lower than where they should be. So we're not going to complain about that because we have crops growing here and we need that rain to help that along. But we're looking forward to a wet weekend, they say. So I don't know that we'll be out visiting towns in Appalachia, but there's a very good chance we may kind of go between the raindrops and bring you a little weekend film of a small town here in Appalachia that offers either a great drive-in or great antique stores. And then we have the MG project that I'm working on here that will start to film and talk about the brake system on that and what we're doing to restore that automobile to get it roadable and get out and get some open-top summer fun before the weather turns cool in the fall. I personally like driving in an open car in the fall and even going into winter sometimes. I've always loved a convertible, and I've always loved my motorcycle, too, for that reason. The heat and the heavy heat in the summertime is not too fun to be baking with a motor right under you or the sun beating down on you all day. But anyway, it's a nice little car. We'll be bringing you some film on that. And remember, we need to pray for the cessation of these idiots that are in the streets trying to block the ICE agents and the police from doing their work. We know that the president promised in his campaign that he was going to get these illegals, especially the criminal side of them. And as Tom Homan says, if they go after a criminal and he's in the room with 16 other people that are undocumented, they have to ask them to go back and apply for those documents. And yes, they will be deported. And you would expect nothing less from what is supposedly taking place at removing the amount of people that have broken the social networks of these sanctuary cities. And there's a lot of fraud attached to this, and you need to understand that. The fraud comes in the fact that you have hotel owners that were barely making it now that they charge the government so many dollars per night to house these illegals free, and the government gets to pay. And when the government pays, that is you paying along with the government for housing these people, and they need to be rounded up and gotten out of there. That is out-and-out fraud when you have a Holiday Inn that covers up the Holiday Inn sign and rents it all out to their own little city within a city for illegals to have their brand new cars, and then we're paying for Uber to pick them up and take them to their appointments with either the immigration people or to go to a hospital or an emergency room. They don't use their own cars for that, but they have plenty of money to go out and buy a new car, and they're given money through social programs that other people that are in dire need should be getting. So yes, they need to go back and apply in the correct fashion to be in this beautiful country. But let's pray, please pray every day for the leaders of this country to come into an agreement that this has to be done, and pray every day that these people that are leaders around the world come to their realization that these wars are benefiting no one other than the criminal element that is stealing the money that is put into this war machine in the Ukraine and in Gaza and Hamas and all of the people that are getting money, our tax money, given to them, while we have to go out and worry about how we're going to make ends meet. So pray, and pray hard for our leaders, and pray for the population of this country that they stay safe through all of this riotous nonsense that is going on one more time, driven by Antifa or who knows who. But we need to follow the money and get down to the fact someone is supporting all of this, and we have to follow the money to find them. And I believe that our Pam Bondi will come up with the fact and know who's funding all of this and do something about it for a change. And with that, we're going to wish you a very happy rest of this Tuesday. And remember, stay safe, stay strong, and stay tuned to the Kaiser Report for more commentary and a look-see at the stupidity that can take place in this country in a scant few days. Bye-bye now.